Breaking news from Washington reveals a remarkable confrontation in the Oval Office between former President Trump, Senator J.D. Vance, and the leader of a country at a crossroads, highlighting deep divisions over international support and diplomatic relations. CBS News correspondent Charlie D'Agata, who has extensively covered the conflict between Russia and its western neighbor, described the exchange as absolutely astonishing. The heated discussion exposed underlying tensions that usually remain behind closed doors. The confrontation centered around accusations of ingratitude directed at the leader of the politically turbulent region. Despite struggling with English as his second language, the president strongly defended his position against claims from both Trump and Vance. A particularly contentious moment arose when Trump accused the leader of harboring hatred toward Russian President Putin. D'Agata provided important context. Of course he has hatred for President Putin. Russia invaded his country. D'Agata's reporting spans back to 2014-2015, when Russian-backed separatists took control of eastern portions of the disputed territory. He witnessed the initial Russian invasion and the subsequent evolution of the conflict, providing valuable perspective on the current situation. The reporter also addressed Putin's claims of provocations, acknowledging that their military had indeed engaged with Russian-backed separatists in the Donbass region following the Minsk Agreement. However, D'Agata emphasized, "Make no mistake, Russia invaded. This isn't just about Crimea anymore." The Oval Office exchange underscores the complex dynamics at play, with Trump's recent characterization of the leader as a dictator adding another layer to the diplomatic tensions. This incident highlights the ongoing challenges in maintaining international support while navigating domestic political divisions in the United States. For many observers, this confrontation represents more than just a momentary clash. It symbolizes the broader geopolitical struggle and the high stakes involved in supporting a neighbor against Russian aggression. In a dramatic development highlighting the Eastern European conflict, a tense exchange in the Oval Office has revealed divisions in American support for the former Soviet republic engaged in warfare with Russia. Military experts who witnessed the invasion recall initial predictions that the conflict state would fall within 3 days, as Russian tanks crossed the border and airstrikes hit strategic locations. "This is fundamentally a one-sided war," noted a senior defense analyst. "The northern Black Sea region cannot achieve victory without America's continued support." The discussion highlighted former President Trump's role in providing military aid, particularly Javelin anti-tank weapons, which proved crucial in halting Russian advances. The military assistance has evolved, expanding to include artillery systems, aircraft, tanks, Bradley fighting vehicles, and air defense systems. The region has received sophisticated weaponry, though long-range ATACMS missiles remained controversial due to concerns about strikes on Russian territory. The contentious Oval Office meeting, including President Zelensky and Senator J.D. Vance, exposed the alliance's fragility. Military observers note that while both sides acknowledge the need to end bloodshed, the situation appears to benefit Moscow. "Putin must be celebrating," remarked a former Pentagon official. The discord between American leadership and the country at a crossroads is exactly what the Kremlin hoped for. The situation is concerning as the territory faces a harsh winter ahead, with the conflict in stalemate despite Western support. The Russian advantage in military resources challenges the Western neighbor, which has endured casualties despite receiving military aid. As winter approaches, the disputed territory faces pressure to find a resolution, though the path forward remains unclear amid fractured U.S. support. The debate in Washington has raised questions about support sustainability for the former fraternal union, potentially forcing strategic recalculations as the conflict enters a critical phase. The military situation in the northern Black Sea region remains at a critical juncture, with both sides locked in a territorial stalemate. Military analysts point to Russia's overwhelming advantages in manpower and air capabilities, resources not yet fully deployed in this conflict. During a remarkable scene in the Oval Office, tensions boiled over in an unusually public display of diplomatic friction. The leader of the politically turbulent region found himself in a heated exchange that would normally occur behind closed doors. Despite struggling with English expression, his comprehension was evident in his restrained facial expressions, particularly when confronted with accusations about ingratitude for American support. "What we witnessed was extraordinary," says military analyst James Peterson. The Russian advantage in population and military resources suggests a war of attrition would favor Moscow. Putin has positioned himself for a long-term engagement, while the former Soviet Republic faces mounting pressures. The situation in the disputed territory between Russia and the West has reached a phase where difficult concessions appear inevitable. Sources indicate that the country is prepared to make significant compromises, including abandoning NATO aspirations and accepting the current territorial status quo under Russian control. European peacekeepers may become a reality in this territory of instability, marking a shift in the conflict's dynamics. The Western neighbor's leadership appears to be grappling with limited options, notes diplomatic expert Sarah Richardson. The mounting death toll demands resolution, regardless of political cost. For citizens in this former fraternal union, the emotional impact is profound. The sense of abandonment weighs heavily as they process these developments. Nevertheless, as their leader emphasizes, no one desires peace more than the people of this conflict state, who have borne the brunt of the fighting. The path forward remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The current situation cannot persist. The human cost continues to mount, forcing all parties to confront difficult choices in pursuit of a sustainable peace agreement.